As the upperclassmen jogged onto the soft green field to take their positions, everyone else made their way towards their usual spots for the game. Anxious fans sat in the stands with heavy anticipation, and Coach Smitty took his place on the ball bag, making it look like a lazy boy. And my teammates and I faithfully sauntered towards the cold, hard bench that awaited us with open arms. The shriek of the referee's whistle evaporated the stillness and anticipation in the air, and the soccer game was ignited. But in the time that I sat on that bench, I changed. I came Ashley Elizabeth Henry, but I left Ashanti Lingling Henry. My teammates and I became content with the fact that we were not going to see any playing time anytime soon. So we began to divert our attention with our own random conversations. But it wasn't until we hit names and family histories that we finally hit a hot topic. So each one of us read our names out loud. Mary Cabell Kelly, and Mary Colleen Roeder, and Ashley Elizabeth Henry. As I finished the last syllable in my name, they all looked at me with somewhat surprised glances, but it was Colleen that was the first to respond, and with a giggle said, "Ashley's not black enough." And with the supportive laughter of my teammates, she dubbed me Ashanti. A quizzical look was glued to my face, and my thoughts could be summarized into, "What?" After hearing them read my name aloud, I felt compelled to tell them more about myself, saying I'm part Chinese, and how my grandmother used to visit us every Chinese New Year when I was young, teaching me to say things like, "Xin Nian Kuai Lan, Gong Xi Gong Xi." But by this time, their shock and disbelief was more than they could handle, and they all burst into laughter. It wasn't until I told them my mother's maiden name, Chung, that their doubts finally turned into belief, and Colleen couldn't resist another alteration to my name. So my baptismal name, Elizabeth, was transformed into Lingling. As she proudly read my new name aloud, Ashanti Lingling Henry, she sat back, satisfied with her work, and laughed at the silliness of my new name with the rest of my nosy benchmates. Where do they come up with this stuff? I thought to myself. But what's worse is eventually my hesitance transformed into laughter, and I joined in on laughing at the silliness of my new name. The shriek of the referee's whistle brought us back to reality with 3 loud blows. Game over. We won. Where had the time gone? Even as we rose from our former positions to get up and shake hands, I couldn't help but think about my new name and how idle conversation had led to its creation. For the rest of that day, each time I thought about it, I couldn't help but laugh and shake my head at the crazy people that I called my friends. The next day, I slept in and did homework and, like any other Sunday, watched TV. I played with my brothers and hung out, and it was just a normal day, but thoughts of my new name still swirled in my head. That night, when it was time for dinner, my mom did what she always did when it was time to eat and shouted, "Ashley, it's time for